it was taken for the strategic reasons is that you could control the Potomac and you could protect President Lincoln. So from ships coming up the Potomac. Alexandria was also a railroad depot hub. And this was where supplies came up the Chesapeake Bay and goods from Europe, and they were distributed up and down the East Coast. By taking Alexandria, they could cut off the supply lines to the south. And then the other reason is a notorious reason. Alexandria was a major slave trading port. Slaves were brought across the Atlantic, up the Chesapeake, up the Potomac, and were sold at auction houses that line Duke Street, which is just a few streets over from here. So in one fell swoop, the Union could protect President Lincoln, cut off the supply lines, and stop the slave trade out of Alexandria. It was a brilliant move. Well, what's that have to do with the church? Thousands of troops sweep into Alexandria. They needed places to stable their horses. They needed field hospitals. They needed barracks. The war is raging right south of here at Chancellorsville and Fredericksburg. They were taking prisoners of war. They had wounded coming back. They conscripted all of the churches in Alexandria. They conscripted the public buildings. They conscripted private homes and turned them into field hospitals and stables and barracks. But they came here to Christ Church to do the same thing. And when they came in, they saw this box, just like these people are sitting in right here, which is the only box left in town. What they would have seen would have been this, except it would have been lit with a pot-bellied stove and no electric lighting. And instead of turning this into a stable or a field hospital, out of respect for Washington and what he had done to create this great union that they were fighting to preserve, they took this church and used it as an army chapel throughout the Civil War. So on a cold day in 1863, you would have had Union troops worshiping here, led by an army chaplain, and with contraband and freed slaves in the church as well. So it's a great place in history that was preserved because of Washington. I'll just take you one other quick place. December 7th, 1941, Day of Infamy, the bombing of Pearl Harbor. Winston Churchill surreptitiously made his way to Washington to meet with Franklin Roosevelt to plan the U.S. entry into the war. And on January 1st, 1942, Winston Churchill, Eleanor Roosevelt, and Franklin Roosevelt came and sat right where you all are sitting. There's the little plaques there. And they came here to worship at Christ Church out of respect for Washington, who had helped to found what is arguably the greatest democracy that the world has ever seen. And they came here because of its historic importance. And they came and they prayed and they declared January 1, 1942, a day of prayer for world peace. Today, many denominations celebrate the first New Year's Day as a day of prayer for world peace. So they sat right here and had the services. While they had the services, the choir sang the Battle Hymn of the Republic. I don't know if any of you know that song, "Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord." Well, that's a uniquely American song because it was written for the Civil War, about the Civil War. And so when they heard the choir sing the Battle Hymn of the Republic, Winston Churchill was moved to tears. He wept. It was so beautiful. He'd never heard a song like that. He'd never heard that song. And he was so moved that when he went back to England, he asked that that song be played at a number of state ceremonies, and he asked that it be played at his funeral, which it was when he died in 1966. So from the American Revolution through the Civil War to World War II, this place has played a role, but it's really Washington is that golden thread that runs, and what he helped to establish is the golden thread that runs through it. We've had other major visitors besides you to this church. Miss Rosa Parks, who refused to give up her seat on the bus and helped to launch the American Civil Rights Movement, had a seat of honor at Christ Church. Archbishop Desmond Tutu, who helped to end apartheid in South Africa, came here and ordained 3 priests, including his own daughter at Christ Church. And almost every president of the United States since Grover Cleveland has come here to pay tribute to Washington at some point. Today, anyone can sit in this box, which is the Washington family box. It is, if members of our servicemen and women in uniform come in, people leave the box so that they can have the seat of honor. Kids love the box. They run right to it. They like to sit in the box. But it is the only box that's originally intact. All the wood that you see around here is original. And the gallery was here in Washington's lifetime too. So what you're seeing is what the Washington family would have seen, with the exception of electric lights and the floors and the air conditioning and that sort of stuff. So it's a unique place. This is the oldest active church in the whole Washington metropolitan region. It has an unbroken record of being a church with a congregation, sometimes a Union troops congregation. But so it opened in 1773, 3 years before the Declaration of Independence, and it's been an active church ever since. Today it's an Episcopal church. Of course, it was Church of England, Anglican church when it opened. After the Revolutionary War, it affiliated with the Episcopal Church of Scotland, and then ultimately became the Episcopal Church in the United States.